Good day. I'm Gord, and as I mentioned in my last video, I was looking at who the false prophet is that makes its appearance in chapter 16 of Revelation for the first time. Verse 13, and I saw coming out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, 3 unclean spirits like frogs. For they are spirits of demons performing signs which go out to the kings of the whole world to gather them together for the war of the great day of God the Almighty. So this is the first appearance of this false prophet. There's a dragon out of the mouth of the dragon. We know who that is. That's Satan, the ruler of this world. The mouth of the beast is a political power. So we have to go back and find which beast John is talking about here. But the false prophet is not mentioned anywhere else in Revelation, not mentioned earlier in Revelation anywhere. So that's the difficulty. Well, if we go back to chapter 15, we see a clue in verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mixed with fire, and those who had come off victorious from the beast and from his image and from the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, holding harps of God. So what is this? Beast, his image, and the number of his name. Again, we go back and we hit chapter 13. Now I understand this is complicated and it's very difficult to do in a short TikTok video. So I encourage you to go to therebeljesus.net, and there I have written an article on this with a lot of detail in it. So this does go by fairly quickly, so I encourage you to read that article along with the video and open your Bibles and look up the scriptures there. In chapter 13 of Revelation, verses 1 through 10, we have a description of this beast with 7 heads and 10 horns and a big blasphemous mouth. And I've argued this is the papacy during the papacy's reign over Europe, Western Europe especially. And then in verse 11 to the end, 11 through 17, not quite the end, we have a description of this lamb beast with 2 horns. 2 horns means there must be a partnership of 2 powers. The same as the ram beast in Daniel had 2 horns. One stood for Media, the other one stood for Persia. So I've argued that this is the Anglo-American power, the lamb beast. And it's represented today by America and Britain. At first, Britain was the senior partner, as Media was in Daniel's time. And then later, America becomes a senior partner as Persia took that position from Media in Daniel's time, in Daniel's prophecy. Now, the strange thing is when we get to verse 18 of chapter 13, it says, "Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for the number is that of a man, and his number is 666. But which beast are we talking about? We've just had the description of the papacy in the papacy's time. I think since the French Revolution, it now stands for European Union, because at the French Revolution, the papacy lost its power. It's no longer a threat. It no longer has any political power. But which beast are we talking about? Here is wisdom. Let him who has an understanding calculate the number of the beast, for that is the number of a man, and so on. Which beast are we talking about? Well, as we go forward in time, we hit chapter 17, and that's a picture of a harlot on a beast with 7 horns and 10 heads. 7 horns and 10 heads means Rome in some form. These beasts go through changes in form over time. The heads represent the form that the beast goes through. So when we get to chapter 17, we don't have the lamb beast any longer. We only have one beast, and we have this harlot. Well, harlot usually represents apostate people of God. In our time, apostate Christianity. And the beast, the 7 horns and 10 heads, means Roman sometime. While Rome starts off in Jesus' time as Imperial Rome, it's destroyed in the 5th century, and the papacy rises to take its place. So the papacy becomes the representative of Rome during the Middle Ages, up until the French Revolution, where the papacy is humiliated and its power taken away. What rises at the end of the 18th century to take Rome's place? It's the British Empire. It becomes a world empire, the most powerful empire that history has ever seen. And then America becomes partner to Britain after they went to war over this, but eventually Britain decided it was better to be a partner to America than be an enemy of America. And so they became partners. And so the Anglo-American power is now is the land beast of chapter 13, 10 through 17. 11 through 17. And it now dominates the Western Empire completely. The European Union is now like a vassal or a slave to America. America just tells it what it wants and what it is to do, and the European Union jumps and does it. And so European Union is no longer a major power. It's become kind of absorbed into the Western Empire, which is led by America. But this is changing because the other powers like the BRICS are opposing it. So this false prophet, which we see in chapter 16 for the first time, out of the mouth of the dragon and out of the mouth of the beast, that is the Western Empire, led by America, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, 3 unclean spirits like frogs. So who is this false prophet? The next mention of it is in chapter 19, verse 20. Let's go to verse 19. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies assembled to make war against him who sat upon the horse and against his army. That's Christ in the heavenly army. And the beast was seized, that's the Western Empire led by America, and with him the false prophet who performed the signs in his presence. Now watch this, by which he deceived those who had received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. These two were thrown alive into the lake of fire that burns with brimstone. Now, I've argued that the mark of the beast refers to sanctions, and America is foremost in imposing sanctions on any country or individual or company that it wishes to. The image of the beast starts as the Church of England. King Henry VIII created a church that looked just like the Roman Catholic Church. It was an image of the beast described in Revelation 13, 1 through 10. It had priests, holy water, incense, an altar, priests in robes, and so it was an image of the beast. And today, it later became state Protestant churches, which persecuted sincere Christians, and in our time, it's apostate Christians. So Christians whose churches have an unclean relationship with corrupt business and corrupt politics, and say their country is blessed by God and other such nonsense. This is the image of the beast in our time. In our time. These two were thrown alive into the lake of fire. So who is the false prophet who performed the signs in his presence, the beast's presence, by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image? Well, what do Christians, apostate Christians in the West, say about Israel? They say it's a holy nation, the blessed people of God, and Israel keeps up this delusion in order to create political capital in America and the West in general. And so if you're against Israel, you could lose your job, you could get thrown out of university, and so on. So the false prophet deceives those who receive the mark of the beast and those who worshiped his image. Those who worshiped his image are apostate Christians. How do we know they're apostate? They have an unclean relationship with business and politics. The nation of Zionist Israel is the false prophet, and it and the beast, the Western Empire, will be thrown into the lake of fire and destroyed by Jesus.